When I initially got into Gunsmith Cats, it was a fascinating series. The idea of, by day, Irene Raleigh Vincent and Minnie Mae Hopkins in a gunsmith store in good old America in Chicago, creating all sorts of guns and weaponry and stuff along those lines. But at night, Raleigh Vincent is an ace shooter as well as a top driver, as well as Minnie Mae being an expert with all things explosives, and they go out hunting bounties on the mean streets of Chicago, taking down all kinds of criminal organizations left, right, and center. And if you mostly go off of the OVA, it's a fairly standard story. They get involved with some pretty bad guys, some cool shootings, explosions, awesome vehicles, and with the help of one of their friends, Becky Farrar, who is an expert with all things information, they manage to find whatever they seek whenever they seek it and get that massive payoff. And for the most part, as it starts off, it is pretty fun. One of the weird things is Minnie Mae looks very young, and that's mostly because she's barely legal, but she is very promiscuous, which I don't know why, but that when I was younger that made me very uncomfortable because I thought she was like a teenager, but no, she's barely legal. And whereas as the OVA goes on, Riley gets involved with a few guys here and there. She's not really into romance or anything like that. She's the vehicle of action for the series. But the manga, the manga. Whereas Minnie Mae ends up in a full-time relationship, and as the story goes on, she drifts further and further away from Raleigh in terms of the story. It focuses more on Raleigh, and it also focuses more on mafias and drug runners and organized crime in Chicago, specifically with one mafia boss named Goldie Musso, who ends up developing an unhealthy infatuation for Raleigh Vincent, as well as a girl named Misty Brown, who is a bit of a thief, very, very young. Stupid young. I think by the time the sequel manga Gunsmith Cats Burst ends, I think she's only 17, which makes a lot of things that happen later on very dubious. Or, no, I think more time actually passed in terms of the series. So, no, she was legal by the end of things. Yeah, that's how dicey a few things that happen in this series get, where I have to question the legality of some of the girls portrayed in here. Because there is sex, violence, and lots of drugs. Lots of drugs. We're talking a whole part of the series that is dedicated to Raleigh being drugged, brainwashed, and sexually abused by Goldie, which, that series got really uncomfortable after that. And eventually by the end of the original series, Goldie is dealt with. Until you get into Gunsmith Cats Burst, and I had the biggest amount of issues with Gunsmith Cats Burst, because just Raleigh loses so much of her agency as the story goes on. And whatever corruption she might have stopped by taking out Goldie initially is only shown that it created a power vacuum that caused absolute anarchy in Chicago. And while the art in Gunsmith Cats is absolutely amazing, people die left, right, and center in this series, which, it seems like a minor issue, but then you also have the incorporation of Bean Bandit from Riding Bean, which is the manga's creator, Kenichi Sonda. He originally had Riding Bean, who is a courier who transports anything except drugs, as his initial kind of series, but then he went into Gunsmith Cats. And the involvement of Goldie, Bean, and the various different mafia organizations, and going forward, Raleigh really just gets in over her head, and the series as a whole kind of diverts away from Rally. She starts to become less and less of the primary character in the series as things just kind of happen around her or completely without her control. And the series kind of wraps up on this note of, ultimately Rally didn't really make so much of a difference, which, I mean, she's a bounty hunter by the end of things. It wasn't really her goal to make a difference, but any sense of, actual justice for anything that happened. Like, Rally went through some shit over the course of the series. Goldie plays a dangerous game with Rally over the course of the series. And by the end of things, I just was not satisfied where things had gone. Things happen with Rally, and they're completely out of her control. Misty, the one younger girl, ends up in a situation that it's hard to accept going forward, and it feels as though most of Rally's friends just kind of drift away from her for the most part. Especially May, who, ends up in a very committed relationship and stuff like that, and I don't know. It just always kind of sat weird with me. And that's not to say I hated it. Oh, no. Absolutely not. There's a lot of great stuff in GunSmith Cats, especially the manga, and just a lot of awesome action. And if you go in mostly wanting action, go for it. But if you want satisfying conclusions to a lot of characters' arcs, you're not really gonna get that. Things are left somewhat open-ended for a lot of characters. Things with Rally and Goldie end on a truce of sorts. And the real selling point is how the truce comes about. Basically, don't get in my way, I won't get in your way. And I don't know. It ends in a way where Rally just decides to kind of get out of everything, get out of the bounty hunting business. And I guess that really is ultimately my problem. That this was one of the few series where the main character got in over their head, was lucky to get out alive with not many of her friends ending in a bad place, and she just decides to go on about her life and just get out while she could. And I guess I just have mixed feelings about that. It's a series where, by all means, the bad guy kind of wins. And not to say that I hated Goldie, it's just that she was just a force that was too much for everyone. And it really showed the strength of the Mafia coming out of everything. Just one of those series where the Mafia was just too powerful, and getting involved with them was either going to destroy you all, or one of you had to bow out before things got even worse. So yeah, when I say that there's no solid end to GunSmith Cats, I kind of mean it. But I still don't think that's absolutely a bad thing. It's a different perspective on the whole, and Rally's bounty hunting, I guess, in the end was a hobby that wasn't worth the stress, strife, and the lives of her friends at the very end. And I guess that's an overall good message to have for your conclusion. But let me know, what did you think about GunSmith Cats? Did you only read the initial manga? Did you read Burst as well and get to the ultimate conclusion? Or did you only ever watch the OVAs, which I'm not dissing the OVAs, but dude, read the manga. Like, read the manga. You're better off reading the manga. The twists, the turns, the action, the intensity, it's a great story. Just not for the faint of heart. But if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.